Hey, welcome, enjoying your blended family for a fun Friday.
What?
Yeah, here we are again with another fun thing that you can do with your family. Pretty excited about this one because this one is some cheap fun. Some
cheap fun. Don't we love some cheap fun?
So yeah, that's like cheap and fun go together like marshmallow and chocolate in a s'mores. It's just like
I was going with like a horse and a carriage.
A horse and a carriage.
Married with Children song started coming to my head.
Oh, yeah. First comes love, then comes marriage. Right?
Kind of, just not with the right tune maybe.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
But you know what I'm thinking right now? I'm thinking if I were to say anything to you, it'd be go fish.
What?
Yeah, go fish. But what does that remind you of if I said go fish?
It reminded me of a card game.
A card game.
Yes.
There it is. We are talking about card games today. We have actually 7 card games that you can use with your blended family that won't cause division, but will help you come together and have a lot more fun. And Go Fish is not one of them.
It is not. And it might cause slight division.
Slight division?
I mean, because most of the games, it's uno on uno. What's that called? Like
mano y mano.
Mano y mano.
Mano y mano, man.
Like you against the rest of the family, but in a fun, in a fun way.
I'm taking you all on, family. You are going down. So it's going to be a good one. Y'all stay tuned. There's going to be some really fun ideas that you can use.
Here we are. We're going to be talking about 7 fun card games that you can play with your blended family.
7.
Now, when
not
Randall...
6, not 8, but 7.
When Randall was saying before that won't cause division, we have done in the past, like finding board games and certain games that you can play that don't cause that division, because we do know, like in a blended family, when you start teaming up in certain ways, that it can have some drawbacks. But these are games more where you're playing individually. And there's I think at least one that is team-based. But these are games that will bring like laughter and some excitement and joy and some healthy fun competition in there. And I found 7 games that can be played in a large group. When you look up card games, so many of them are 2 to 4 players. And a lot of our blended families are more than 2 to 4 players. So it causes that issue of like, okay, well, we can't all play, or we have to play different times or what have you. So I picked 7 games specifically that can be played in larger groups. And what's really cool that I never even thought of before until I started looking into this was that if you have more than like maybe 8 people in your family, you just get another deck of cards.
But you're not playing separate.
No, you're still playing together.
You're playing together, putting 2 card decks together. So now instead of 50, was it 54?
52.
52.
Well,
so instead of 52, now it is 104 card pickup. Go play that game.
Yes.
Toss them all. Boom. You want to play 104 card pickup?
I was actually making a reel the other day for something with this, and I took all the cards and I threw them at the screen, and I missed the take, and all the cards were on the floor. I was like,
dang it.
I don't want to pick all of those up. So you probably saw a couple lingering in there.
You were playing by yourself.
Yeah. I was like, this is not fun. But yeah, I just never thought of that before. Like if you have a card game, like the typical we're saying, go for 2 to 4 players. And if you have a card game that you need more than 2, you have more than 2 to 4 players, you just get another deck and you could play the same game.
Yeah.
It was like
mind blowing.
Mind blowing. Never thought about that before.
That's just a fun way to do it, and that's something that you don't think about because you get one deck and you think that's all you've got. So being able to add that second deck really just kind of adds to the fun and just gives you more cards that you can play with. So yeah, no, good stuff. And another thing that I know for me is I'm really competitive. Mm-hmm. You didn't disagree.
I did
you just
not.
went with that
I did
one. Okay.
not.
So I am very competitive, and one thing as parents, whenever we're playing these games, is being able to desensitize any heightened emotions that may come up anytime that we are playing together. So we were saying that these games don't cause division, or there could be a little division, like there is still competition. And in any competition, there's going to be that kind of dividing factor. So we want to make it healthy competition. And anytime we play any games, that we really want to just be mindful of that. And as parents, not to fall into the trap. I know it's really easy to do. I've done it before, but it's whenever you start feeling your kids' angers maybe coming up, or just really getting unhealthy competitive, then we're the ones that are able to pull that back, or swap things around, maybe change the game, or maybe change the teams, split the teams up, something to that nature. So it's always really trying to look at that and desensitize any...
Well, and if the adult in the room, I'm not saying always let your kids win, but if the adult in the room would sometimes let the kids win on
Why
purpose.
are you looking at me like she was giving me a cold stare? Like she was like giving me the death eyes as she was saying that. If someone in the room
would just...
winking.
Just being a teacher and knowing like some of the things when you are playing games with younger children or with people that are trying to, I mean, I wouldn't say maybe necessarily adults that you should have to do this, but making the odds a little bit easier, or sometimes,
may the odds be in your favor.
Fudging it just a bit so that they do get to win and feel that and experience. You don't let them win every single time, but if you do let them win on occasion, it does help it a little bit more, make it a better experience. And the more rounds you play, when you play games that do go faster, so they have more of an opportunity to win sometimes.
Well, I think that's age depending as well. If your kids are younger, for sure, you want them to have that chance to win, because they are going to struggle in these games. But if you have teenagers that are 15, 16, 17, they're going to catch on to you like, you're letting me win? Come on, I'm done.
Yes,
so
definitely
they can be
age appropriate, and you wouldn't do it all the time, but you do, like, just especially with younger kids. But I think one of the key is, and which is, I tried to pick games today, and I also, not only for the children, but for Randall as well, pick simple, fun games. Because
have you ever been into a game, like a new game, that someone comes and says, hey, let's do this game? Okay, cool. How do you play? Well, and then they go into explanation, and 30 minutes later, you're scratching your head, like thinking about maybe going to the refrigerator, finding your favorite snack, or whatever that may look like, and you come back, and they're still explaining the game. And it's like, how many rules are there in this game? Like, you lost me at rule number 2, because this just sounds really complex, and I don't get it.
Yeah, well, and Susan, our oldest, the one that we were fostering and we've taken into our family, she went off to college, and she loves card games, and it's something I guess they did in college because it is good, cheap, fun, and it brings, like, everybody kind of together. But she would want to play card games a lot, and she plays some complex games, and it's a little overwhelming, especially if you do have younger ones, or if you're just tired at the end of the day and you're already trying to pump yourself up to have some family time, and now you're mentally trying to wrap your head around, like, wait, what is this game that we're trying to play? So the games that I chose today, for the most part, they're simple. Some of them, a couple of them that were told to me by other people that are fun games, I haven't actually played, so I can't tell you exactly how simple they are, but I didn't want to leave them off the list in case it's some of y'all's favorites. And really, they don't seem too hard, but you got to get your hands in there, and just start playing. And just to make it a little easier, I put all of these on Pinterest in our Blended Family Fun. There's a Pinterest board created that has these card games with the instructions, so you can look at it and it can come along easier. But having those easy and like silly games. So that's what I was trying to pick today as well.
We do like easy and silly. Easy and silly is always a fun thing to do. But when you think of cards, it's like an old school game, right?
Yeah.
You normally today it's so easy to get caught up in all these new games, electronic games. And I think I see so many people run around with their phones on just games. Like I get made fun of. I'm not a game player a lot, and just one day I was bored, y'all, being real. Everybody's on their phones, and I'm like, you know what? Everybody's playing games, but none of the games look really cool to me. So I'm looking up solitaire. I'm like, let me play some solitaire. I just want some old school solitaire. And so I look up and get this one game app that plays solitaire, and now they all make fun of me. They're, at night, like whenever we're winding down, watching TV, and I've got my phone up. Are you playing solitaire? I'm like,
because for a while I was like, wow, look at him just engaging in the social media. No.
Playing solitaire.
The introvert over here. He's not even engaging socially online. He is solitarying it up.
But it's so fun when you win because the cars just like all start bouncing and stuff. It's really cool. Okay. No, it's really fun.
But I think the reason you probably enjoy that and why a lot of these card games I enjoy myself is it takes you back to a time that you experienced cards like with your family. Like playing cards is like our grandparents, maybe even your great grandparents' generation. Like it reminds me, my grandma used to tell me stories of the street that she lived on back then. Everybody knew everybody, and all the neighbors would come to one house. Whoever's house they chose, people would bring snacks and drinks. The kids would run around outside playing all evening with each other while the adults were inside playing cards with each other. And so she taught me a lot of those games. It was just her and I most of the time. So she taught me a lot of like 2-player games that I'm more like a little more expertise in than the whole group games. But even the whole group, like it reminds me of just like being in school and when you had a rainy day, you couldn't go out for recess. Did y'all do that at your school?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we played card games. I don't remember any of that. I remember card games more of with my family and my dad teaching us certain games that we would do. I remember going to the deer lease with my dad whenever we were younger, and I had my papaw there, and we would all just play card games at night, and it was just so much fun. And that is kind of a lost art in a sense. And that's kind of why today's topic, kind of bringing up card games, is bringing these things back and showing our kids, creating those experiences with our kids of something that they normally wouldn't do. Nowadays, everyone's tied so much to electronics, to their phones and TV, that this is a way to be able to unplug and just bring back some old fun and teach our kids this and create those moments. So that's what's so special about this.
Yeah, and I think it's cool because it is, like you said, cheap. Like you can find a deck of cards, probably $1 at any dollar store. If you don't already have
But they're not $1 anymore. I mean, come on, guys. Dollar store should be $1. It shouldn't be $1.25.
They are, yes. In our area. Sorry. I don't know if that's everywhere.
Sorry,
but even at Walmart,
rant.
I don't know. You can buy it at least for less than $5. And you can take this small deck, you can pack it, you can take it on vacation, you can take it outside. Like I remember the time that you and I just had a date night and we played cards, picnic table in the backyard. Like you can take cards anywhere. It's so easy.
You can. They should call it the $1.25 store.
I'm
sorry,
I'm still on
that. I was still on that.
He doesn't get out much.
$1.25 store.
And I asked for him to run into the dollar store with me. For one, I've already come home and complained about the dollar store turning into a $1.25 store.
I had to see it for myself.
Over and over. And he walks through and starts talking about it like it was new.
This is
like
not
he
$1.
ever seen that before.
So you can't get cards for $1. You can get them for $1.25.
You might. Somewhere.
You might be able
Even
to.
at Walmart,
maybe
they might
Amazon.
have the cards.
Who knows? But anyways, besides the point.
Cheap. You could get them for cheap. That's the point. And you can carry them anywhere. And then the best part, I think, is it just brings the family together.
Yeah, for sure.
You're all rounding up around this game with a common interest to try to like kick each other's butts.
Or not. So,
all right.
Yeah. So let's get into the 7.
Let's get into the
we got
actual
7 card games that you can play with your blended family. Are you ready?
Hang on. We'll be right back. Check this out.
It's time to have some more blended family fun, yeah. Are you ready?
What was that?
It's my new song. You like it?
Sure, I guess.
Well, it goes along with Enjoy the Journey, our new blended family roadmap to having fun together.
Oh, okay. I get it now. I feel the excitement, but why don't you tell them about it instead of singing it?
Fine, I guess. Let me try. This is a fun journey for your family, a new experience. You could go to the movies again, or you could get this for your family and come out with a new plan that creates more fun opportunities in your family. You'll laugh more, have more fun together, and create lasting memories that keeps your family stronger and healthier. And it's also about having more fun. How was that?
That was pretty good. I know that got them way more excited about the new journey they can go on as a family than your song did.
What? Come on.
You could have also told them that it not only creates more fun their whole family loves doing, but it also adds more fun for their marriage and new fun ways to connect with their kids individually. It's also great for that step-parent relationship. You could have said that too.
I don't think you really appreciated my song.
Aye. Anyways, Enjoy the Journey is ready for your family to start today. The link for more information is in the show notes. Have more family fun and create more lasting memories.
Have more family fun with your blended family and enjoy the journey today. Yeah.
Really? Let's get back to this episode.
Ready. Are you ready for this?
I am ready. And we're not going to go into detail about all of these games. We're just going to give you like a brief overview and the ones that maybe spark some interest in our family or our memories. But number one is spoons.
Spoons.
Are you a fan of spoons?
I thought we were playing card games.
Yeah.
Let's play card games. Here's 7. First one, spoons. Wait, what?
Yes.
No.
Well, the thing about card
spoons
games
is fun.
It was really funny because we were watching this in the wilds the other day. The thing about card games
Which
is
is
they're
an Amazon thing. So
it's
for all those who might be lost.
It's a television
Show.
series that you can watch on Amazon. But these kids are stranded. Anyways, they're playing a card game. And they were like, yeah, pretty much you put 2 names, random names together, and you have a name of a card game. So that's like the funny thing about card games is their names are part of the fun, right? And the things that you say when you're playing. So,
well, and disclaimer, some of these games that the 7 that we call out, they could have different names. And we found that out too, that one family might call this card game this name and another might call it this name. So, whenever we explain some of these, you may be, oh, that's not that game. That's called this game. So there's a lot of different names. And I think just the older generations, they just called it whatever.
Yeah, cool, because it was one of those things like old folk tales. They passed it down verbally.
Yeah.
And so as they were telling, and then in their region, they named them certain things. So, yeah, I would love to hear from you, too. Like, no, we call that this. So the first one is spoons, and you do actually need spoons in this game. However many you have playing. So in our family, we have 6 people. You would have 5 spoons on the table. And then during this game, you start with 4 cards in your hand. And so you're looking at your 4 cards. You shuffle them up, pass them out. Everybody gets 4 cards. Now you're taking the cards and you're looking at them. You're trying to get 4 of a kind. So in the process, you have to have 4 in your hand at all times.
Which, for those who don't know, 4 of a kind means 4 of the same number or 4 of the same whatever.
Yes, face card or number.
Face cards, so you would have 4 jacks, 4 kings, or 4 number 2s, things of that nature.
Yes, all of that. And whoever is to the right or left of the person that like dealt the cards, I think it is actually the dealer. The dealer starts out and they're going to pull from the other cards you have left over. They're going to look at it, decide, do I keep this or do I not keep it? If they decide to keep it, they put it in their hand and they have to get rid of one because you can only have 4 at a time. But if they decide to discard it, they just pass it to the next person. That person looks at it. It's a very fast game. They look at it, decide keep it, don't keep it. And it keeps passing around until somebody gets 4 of a kind. And when they get 4 cards that are the same, you want to secretly grab a spoon off the table. You can do it crazily and like dive for the spoon, but then the game kind of stops. What the fun part, at least what I like, is that you like sneak in there and grab your spoon and pull it down so that everybody else is so busy looking at their cards, they don't notice. And so you actually have ended the game, but the other people are looking like fools.
Because she's not competitive at all.
Okay, so when Randall was saying he was competitive, I stayed completely quiet.
She's a quiet competitive. She's like, oh, I'm not competitive. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So number 1 is spoons. So could you play forks? Could you do it with
I think
forks?
it could be more dangerous if
that
you
would be
do
more
knives or forks, but you could probably play with anything if you are...
What about a spork? We're playing sporks.
You know, because if someone gets mad, they're competitive and they have a fork, they may try to
Stick
stab
with spoons.
you. Stick with spoons or anything with rounded edges. But remember, you just have to have one less of the amount of people. And so then everybody's trying to grab. So the one person that doesn't get the spoon, they're out that round. They don't have to leave. They're not out forever because these rounds move really fast. They're just out for that round. This is one of those games that you can just maybe not let them win the first go round. But as you notice, the one person starting to get discouraged,
give them a little boost.
Yeah.
A little boost of encouragement.
Do them a solid.
Do them a solid.
Do them a solid and let them win a game.
There you go. Number 1 is spoons. Number 2, we like to call BS.
And we call it BS because we're not the cussing type.
We're not the cussing type. So you could only imagine what the name of that game is. We'll call it Bull Snickles. Bull Snickles.
Bull Snickles.
Bull Snickles is, and that's not the actual name.
Growing up, we would replace the bad word with crap. So we would call it bull crap.
Bull crap. That'd be BC.
It was, but
we're playing BS. So it's Bull Snickles. Go ahead. Tell them what BS is.
The objective, is that how you say it?
Objective, yes.
The objective of BS or Bull Snickles. That is not regionally correct anywhere. Randall just made that up.
I did.
Right
Bull
now.
Bull Snickles.
But you can
take it and run with it.
You're trying to get rid of all of the cards in your hand. But you have to be a little deceitful and lie in this. So card games kind of teach bad morals. We are finding out. Cussing, cheating, lying, all of the things you tell your family not to do.
Yeah, so we don't do that.
So you're sitting around in a circle. You deal out all the cards to the amount of people are there. Again, if you have like more than 4 people, you may want 2 decks so that the game can go a little longer. Everybody gets a card, and you have to start with someone that has the ace. Whoever has the ace, they're gonna put down their card, but they put it face down. So you don't know that it's actually an ace. They're just claiming it's an ace. So they're putting down their card to start. Now everyone else has to go around in a circle. So the next person has to have a 2. But if the next person doesn't have a 2, they can trick. We'll call it tricking. Tricking instead of lying.
Tricked you.
And they could take maybe a 4 and put it down and say a 2. I think you call the clubs or... No, you don't have to do that, right?
No.
You just say...
Yeah, and we're just kind of giving a brief overview of these games. Like she said, you can Google any one of these to get the full rules, or you can look at the Pinterest board and grab the rules. I know we're just kind of briefly going over this, but you'll want to get more in depth with these. But BS is a fun game. That is one that it is. You're trying to be sneaky. you're trying to trick people and everything. So that way you can win.
And the important part is, and I always hear this in Matthew McConaughey's voice from, I think it was like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days or something. But if you catch that you think that they are tricking you, then you call BS on them. And then they have to flip over their card and prove that it is or isn't. And if it isn't, then they have to take all of the cards.
Yeah, the person who called the person out. So they get a whole bunch of cards on that.
Yeah.
So BS, there it is. So we got spoons, BS. Number 3 is the traditional poker. That is just a fun game. This is one of the old school. They have added so much to poker now. You play like Texas Hold'em, things of that nature, but those get a little bit more in detail. Once you learn it, it's really easy. But poker is just one of those that it's just an easy game to play. You start out with 5 cards. You go around the room, deal 5 cards out to each person. They get, if you're betting, normally kind of what you're going to be doing here with your family is you're not really betting, but
maybe you could bet candy or something.
Maybe you could bet Skittles or something of that.
Speaking my love language now.
But you look at your cards and then you can discard. You normally get 1 discard, but you're trying to get certain matches, certain things, and there's so many different ones. Like there's a pair, you're just trying to get 2 4s or 2 6s or 2 jacks, things of that. And whoever has the highest pair, it's all the highest order is basically what would win once you call and everybody shows your cards. But yeah, so you get your 5 cards, you discard what you want, and then you get that number back, and then you're playing that hand, hoping that you have the winning card. So there's pairs, there's 3 of a kinds, 4 of a kinds, there's a flush, a full house, royal flushes. There's all these different ways to win. Yeah, combinations to win, but it's all highest order. So you can look at the rules to find out, well, what does a 2 of a kind beat a high card? Does a full house beat a 3 of a kind, and things of that? So you're really trying to play that, and it is fun. That's a fun game. I remember playing that a lot as a kid. My dad teaching me, and that was just one that always stuck with me.
I always think of poker as a man's game.
A man's game.
To me,
well, I think they really just kind of push it that way, that men sitting around a table smoking cigars and, having their drinks and, just the lights down low and everybody's serious because they're betting and playing for money. That's kind of the take that you get from poker. But you can flip that and make it just a family fun game that you ditch the cigars, of course. You're going to ditch those, and then you're going to turn the lights up, and you're going to have fun. But poker is a fun game. So that is number 3. So number 4.
Number 4 is a favorite of mine from my childhood, and I looked all over the internet to try to find the rules to put in the Pinterest board, and they're not there. So I don't know if this game was just created by my friends or family, and that's how I learned them or not, but it's called Booger.
Nasty.
I even tried to put in rules.
Go blow your nose.
Hey, that could be the clue. Okay, so I'm going to tell you just a brief overview of how you play Booger. You do have to pair up in this game. So no matter how many you have to have pairs in there, and you sit across from the person that you're paired up with. And your goal, it's similar to spoons where you're trying to get like a 4 of a kind. You're trying to get the same 4 cards. And when you get the same 4 cards, you give a secret signal. To your partner to let them know, because you can't call Booger for yourself. Your partner has to call Booger.
And this isn't going to be like one of those baseball catchers where they're doing a whole bunch of signs and coaches throwing signs. This is like a secret you don't want anyone else seeing.
So it could be like you're blowing your nose, where I think it got its name is you would go to pick your nose or something, and that was your clue to your teammate. Oh, they have Booger. Or it might be just like that you touch your hair. I forgot we're a podcast, and so I'm over here touching my hair. or that you wink your eye, but that might be too obvious. So you got to pick something that's not too obvious.
That your partner knows and you're in cahoots.
Because if one of the other partners see what you're doing and they call booger, then they win and you lose. So it has to be secret enough. I know ours a lot of times was like putting your thumb just on the top of the table, and that was like a clue as well. So that's a fun one. If you want more details on that, you're gonna have to private message me, because apparently it doesn't exist out there on the World Wide Web.
Probably called something else. Who knows? But maybe. That's number 4, booger. Number 5.
Number 5, I have played this. It's not necessarily a favorite, but it's called Garbage. Do you know Garbage?
Take out the trash. Take out the papers and the trash. Dum, 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 dum.
There he goes. First song, I think, of the day. That's like pretty good, because we're wrapping up.
There it is, Garbage.
But in the game of Garbage, you're going to each get 10 cards face down, and you have 5 on the top, 5 on the bottom. They're face down. But just like you would think, like the top left corner, that's your 1, and then you have 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the bottom row is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is what you're trying to get. But they're face down, so you don't know what's actually there. So you're pulling from like a stack that's also face down. And so say you pull a 4, you're going to count over to your 4th spot and replace it. And so where you're putting that card down, okay, and you're taking that one that you can't see, and say that's a 10. You put that where the 10 would be. Then if you flip that up and say it was a king, kings are wild. So you can put that one anywhere.
Kings are wild.
And aces are your 1s. Yes. And then your other face cards are just trash. That's where the garbage comes in. If you get a jack or you get a queen, they're garbage and you just throw them out.
So sad for the jacks and queens.
I know.
They're garbage. So there's garbage. So number 5. Number 6.
Number 6, I've never officially known that I played this game. I asked on our Instagram, I just took a poll, what are some family favorites? And Jamie over from Date Crates, she was saying, we love to play Nertz. So I was like, let me look this game up.
Are you a Nertz?
I'm no, I got nothing. So in the game of Nertz, everyone gets their own deck. I do know that. And the rules are so complicated that when I was reading them, I almost didn't even realize that I played this game with Susan just the other night on Mother's Day. We played this game together.
It's crazy.
And so it is a little complicated, so you might want older kids. Once I got the hang of it, the whole thing is you have this Nertz pile that you're trying to get rid of, but there's whole other game happening in front of you that you're trying to do as well and playing off. It kind of reminds me of Solitaire a little bit, because you're trying to go in
That's
order.
That's my game. I'm a Nertz.
There's like a group Solitaire happening in the middle of the game while you have your own little thing happening with your Nertz pile. So that's Nertz. Look it up. Go to our Pinterest. You can find it there. Randall's going to have the links. I say Randall because he's the one that does the show notes.
And number 7.
Number 7 is Egyptian Rat Slap. This one is a fun game where everybody has like a little pile in front of them.
Egyptian Rat Slap.
And in the middle of the pile, you're just flipping your card over quickly. And as long as it's a number, the game keeps rotating around in the circle. But if you get a face card, each one of those face cards represents how many times that you get to try to get a number card again. So if it's an ace, you have 5 flips to try to get a number card before you lose. If it's a king, you get 4 flips before you lose to get that face card. If it's a queen, it's 3. If it's a jack, it's 2. But so you get the point. You're trying to get the number card to keep the game going.
I wonder where they came up with Egyptian Rat Slap. We'd have to look that one up.
Yeah, I actually looked and I was like, okay. In these games, card games, names, and all of that is weird. But that's just part of the game. There's all these rules on, like, if you get like doubles and sandwiches and all of that, that if you get that, then someone slaps the pile and then they're the one that wins all that. And they're trying to get all the cards is how you become the winner in that game.
And if you have 2 decks of cards, you get 104. Boom.
That's a lot of cards.
That's a lot of cards. So look, that is 7 card games that you can play with your family. You can take those ideas. Like we said, we just briefly ran over them. Whenever you go to play, you're going to want to really get in depth or maybe look the rules up just to keep it fresh whenever you're playing it. But the point is, go play some cards. Go teach your kids cards if you haven't, or dust the old card deck off and get it going. Go play some cards. It's some cheap, fun that you can do anytime. You do it on a family game night, once a week, pull out a card game.
Yeah, and I think the thing that we've been bringing in these things here lately is when we share our stories, they always go back to these memories, these fond memories that we have with our parents and our grandparents. And that's what we're doing in our blended family. We're creating these memories that become ours and our blended family so that our kids feel more connected together as a family.
Yep, no doubt. So go play some cards. Go have some fun. Have some free fun. Maybe go get a $1.25 card deck, and you won't regret it. So listen, we love you guys. We will see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us today. We hope this episode has been a blessing and encouraged your family journey.
Make sure you stay connected with us and join our weekly Blended Family newsletter. We send an email out every Friday morning full of support and encouragement.
When you join, we also want to give you a free gift, so go get yours today. The link is in the show notes below.
Have an amazing day, and remember to enjoy the journey with your blended family, and we'll see you on the next episode.